I will now call the select board meeting to order. If you can join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, first up on the agenda is the gravel permit continued hearing. So we were setting a new continued hearing date today. And Chris, did you hear from all parties?
I haven't heard anything from anybody.
Oh, boy.
Boy, that's ugly.
And the applicant, it doesn't have representation here?
Nope. I'm gonna say set it. We all were looking at what, September 26th, was it?
That's what I had. And to our understanding, they were just gonna get back to us if they were supposed to get back whether they could or couldn't make it, but you haven't heard anything?
Not a word.
Okay.
And
So,
we were saying 5:30 on Thursday, September 26th.
all right. Does that still work for the board members?
Yes.
Yes.
I will notify them tomorrow of the date and time for the hearing continuance.
So do I have a motion to continue to,
I will make a motion to continue the gravel pit meeting to September 26th, 2024 at 5:30 PM at 10B West State Street, Senior Center.
I'll second the motion.
any further discussion?
Discussion.
All in favor? Aye.
I had something.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay. This is a continuing hearing. Should we open it up?
Yeah,
It's a
we
public
can.
hearing, so we should be opening up and closing it.
Yeah.
Or continuing it.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
So say, okay, thank you, Yvonne. So 5:32, I will open the gravel pit continued hearing, in which we will set a date.
Motion again.
Yes, sorry.
I will make a motion that the new gravel pit meeting be set for September 26th at 5:30 PM, 2024, at the Senior Center, 10B West Street, West State Street, to continue the gravel pit meeting.
I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion?
The only thing I have is changed it to hearing, not a meeting. Public hearing, instead of public meeting.
Public hearing, sorry.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And now I will entertain a motion to close the, well, no, we're not closing it because we're continuing it. So that's it.
You just did. Continue till 26.
Yes. But we opened it, but I'm just being clear, we're not closing it because we're continuing it.
Right.
Okay. All right, so next is the building commissioner at well, it's supposed to be 5:31, sorry. Damien, if you want to come up here, please. Hello.
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
So I think I was invited about this is about 16 East Street. So the enforcement case, it's Single Source Services is the owner LLC. And I don't know if I need to go over anything. I'm here to answer questions because you guys had a meeting about that. We got the cease and desist with stop work order, and we're at a point where we need to make a decision where we're going to go. So my suggestion would be engage with town council, and I can speak with that person about what options there are that may be best fit. And, it might be litigation in court, it might be some other agreement, but that we would reserve for that conversation.
So Chris, am I allowed to talk about what the attorney told us during our executive session?
No, because you haven't released those minutes yet.
Okay. All right, so,
What the board will be granting tonight is for the building commissioner to contact special counsel to proceed regarding the cease and desist for 16 East Street.
East Street. And that will be with our special town council.
With special
which is-
counsel, yes.
Okay. All right, so do you guys have any questions for the building commissioner at this time?
I don't.
No,
No.
I think it really needs to go to council.
Okay. So I will entertain a motion to grant the building commissioner permission to engage with special counsel.
I will make a motion to grant the building commissioner Damian Cody to talk with special counsel in regards to 16 East Street, the wine house owner, Jim Tronky, the owner of Wine House and Single Source, to come to a conclusion moving forward on the cease and desist order.
I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion?
I think you can talk to the attorney, anything that you need to talk to him about in reference to that.
Okay,
And the special counsel is Adam Costa, just so you know. And
Got it.
Chris can give you the information for him.
okay, thanks.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
Is that it? Thanks.
Yep. All right, Chris, we have 3 more minutes before our IVPO meeting. Do you have anything for us?
Got a couple of reservations, how's that? I should probably fill in 3 minutes. The first one is for August 28th through November 15th, 2024, Monday through Friday, and select Saturdays, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. It is for GAA soccer, arrival time 4 p.m., departures 8 p.m., maximum number of people 200. Area being used is the back and front soccer fields for practice and games. Also the outfield of the baseball field, and this is at the Brown Ellison Park. And the second one is for GAA soccer at Dufresne Park. Reservation dates August 28th through November 15th, 2024, Monday through Friday. Arrival time 5 p.m., departure time 8 p.m., maximum number of people 200, and the area being used are the soccer fields located between the play structure and the pond using Taylor Street entrance. And seeing I have 1 more minute. Also, I did send a couple emails to Eric Weiss. He hasn't gotten back to me yet regarding the town administrator task force. So I guess I'm gonna have to try and call him and find out what his true schedule is, because he isn't getting back to emails, and I've sent 2.
Okay. Does the board want to come up with a backup plan if he doesn't, this is kind of time sensitive, you are retiring soon.
What I was suggesting to Dave earlier is him and I get together
Okay,
and start going through and reviewing the current one, and to see if any modifications are necessary.
Then I will agree to that,
okay,
unless we can include Eric if we get in touch with him.
Yes.
okay. Thank you. And this was to come up with a job description, right?
Yes.
In the detail. All right, it is now 5:40, so we will now ask the IBPO to come up here. Hello.
How are you?
Going,
All right, did everyone get a chance to look at the memorandum of agreement?
Yes.
Okay. Any questions you guys have? I'll just look it over again.
so it's two separate lists, correct?
Just so we're on the same page, are you looking at the memorandum of agreement that we sent to the town or the memorandum of agreement that the town sent to us?
The revised one.
Yeah, the
Okay.
revised one.
Okay.
Yep. You have that one, right?
Yeah, I'm looking
Okay.
at that now, yeah, no.
And just so the board knows, Mr. Collins is online if we need to talk to council. Hi, Jack.
Hi, Jeff.
Everybody? Question.
Go ahead, sir.
So it says lieutenant would only be eligible for overtime after all IBPO Local 321 union members have refused the overtime.
That's the current agreement at this time.
My understanding, he would stay at a certain spot. And
On the overtime list, he would be at the bottom of the list all the time, which is the way it currently is. On the detail list, he would rotate through like everybody else on the list.
excuse me. So the only time the lieutenant would be eligible for overtime is if all the members of the,
Refused it.
Correct, that's the way it currently is right now.
Do you have any questions, Dave?
I don't.
And overtime just refers to shift coverage, correct?
I'm sorry?
Overtime just refers to shift coverage?
Yes, I believe it's just shift coverage, yeah. Once again, that's the current language that's been going on in the contract, that's both in our contract, so there's no change in there as far as
That's what we're
the
looking at currently.
correct. The overtime, there's no change, it's just the detail list,
detail.
separating them two. Just so we're on the same page, the MOA that you're looking at has a number 2 on it that the union would have a couple of questions about. We didn't include that in our MOA. That was not part of our MOA. That was the MOA that the town sent back to us. We just want to make sure that we're all on the same page in the sense where it says the above changes will be in place for the life of this present contract and are available for possible renegotiations when it expires on June 30th. That language is kind of overkill. Like, both sides always have the ability to reintroduce an item and speak of it. We just want to make sure that everybody understands that this language, if it goes in the contract, if we agree to it tonight and everybody signs, that this is the way we move forward in the contract with the 2 separate lists. Number 2 does not mean that at the end of this contract, it automatically goes away and then we renegotiate it in the next one.
Well, you would do that anyway, if you're negotiating it.
If the town wanted to bring that up in the next contract negotiations, obviously they have the right to do that, the same way we have the right to do that also. But I don't believe that wording has to be in there in order for the town to have the right to do that. So I just want to make sure that we're all on the same page, that if we sign this MOA, that this is now in the contract, this is the way we move forward. And at the next negotiation, if the town wants to bring this up again, they obviously can. But it's not going away at the end of this next contract. It's only if the union agrees with the town to a change that it would go away. Do you understand what I'm saying?
I agree with that.
Okay. I just want to make sure we're all on the same page because we had asked for that to be removed, that number 2 to be removed. There's no reason for it to be there. But we're fine with it as long as everybody's on the same page that if the town wants to bring it up again at the next contract, that's fine. But that doesn't mean that it goes away when the contract is over. It's in the contract as part of the MOA. And if the town wants to negotiate some great benefit to the union to allow something to change, they have the ability to do that. But that doesn't mean that the union absolutely has to agree to that.
Jack, would you be able to speak to number 2 for us?
I think it's going to be correct.
Yeah, the clicker.
Not a big deal, but I think it's being relative active. But this revision is in the contract. They have what we call an evergreen clause in their contract, which says that when you put the contract, it's going to stay in place. It'll stay in place until either side makes a proposal to change it. We also have provision there that it might go to the JLMC, the Joint Liquor Management Committee, and if possible, those people will change it. I would tell you that there's 1 in 1,000 chances they would change it, but legally is possible. So I think the union is doing the right thing, just saying, by the way, we know what it means. The law already applies. We really don't need it, but as long as we have no sneaky intention of doing something wrong, I guess they want to live with it. I think we have to tell them that we have no sneaky intention at all. Okay, this is just essentially a restatement of what our rights are. So I don't see any reason to insist on it, nor do I see any reason for the union to say, oh my God, we can't live with it. I think what Jim has just told you right now is very accurate. It's in the contract, it'll be there until either they voluntarily give it up, or the JLMC takes it away, which will, in my opinion, will never happen. There we are. So go ahead, I think both sides ought to go ahead and sign it and move on.
So moving forward, we're certainly in agreement with this after listening to what Attorney Collins had to say.
Okay.
We're completely in agreement with the current MOA that the town sent.
Any comments from, I see Officer Poehler or Chief?
Yeah, so the lieutenant does have a few things to add to this before any addendum is actually considered. All right, and I'd like to take it back a little bit, if you wouldn't mind, I come up.
So I was told that this is between the select board and the union and no other contract should be brought into this matter. Is that true, Attorney Collins, or no?
Okay, I only heard a little bit. I assume the lieutenant was speaking, but I
Yes.
couldn't hear what he said.
He wants to come up and speak about it.
Okay. 2 things. Right now, you're in open session, it's not an executive session, is that right?
Yes,
Gary.
Okay, but as long as you have a problem with executive session, you can listen to one.
okay,
But in this case here, clearly, neither, I mean, if it were executive session, then neither party could insist in being open session, but both parties have gone along with open session, so it's okay for you to listen to it. You're like, do I think you ought to make changes? You have to see what he has to say.
Thank you, Jack, appreciate that.
thank you.
All right, Jack, I'd just like to take you back a little bit. 3 years ago, I negotiated my own contract, okay? Which we all know is perfectly legal to do so. That being said, I negotiated this contract in good faith. And in the end, the town gave me both overtime and details in my contract. I think you recall that. And at the end of the day, the union had an issue and said it was a violation of their collective bargaining agreement, which I disagreed, and so didn't you at the time. In the end, the union refused to negotiate, so they asked me to come back to the table, which I did. Reluctantly, however, newly promoted, didn't want to put myself out there. I came back to the table, renegotiated, and I was also told at the time we would work towards a more fair situation moving forward in the future. So we'll fast forward a little bit. The town then negotiates a new contract with the union. Finally, after, I don't even know how long it was actually, it's so old, and I'd like to apologize to the public for having to listen to our dirty laundry, okay? I think this is not where it should have been dealt with. It should have been dealt with management and over with, because that's the chief's, his right is the calling procedure. So that being said, the union then agrees to put me in their rotation, and only for details. However, we have a call-in procedure, which hasn't changed, okay? The call-in procedure included me in only details. However, everybody rotates no matter whether they take a detail or overtime. However, I'm not in their overtime rotation. They didn't ask to change their call-in procedure. That being said, they then realized, oh boy, we made a boo-boo. And then they come back and they file another grievance, just another grievance. But they didn't file it right away, Jack. In fact, they actually held off on this grievance because they talked to their union the union e-board at the time, and the union e-board disagreed. It was a 50-50 split. They didn't file a grievance. So what they do? They held on to it until they got new union members, new e-board members, and they file a coup. All right, and then they start this whole thing all over again. And then they want to push me out by doing 2 lists now. And they got the new e-board on board with it. How'd they do that? I'm not going to speculate. I'm just going to tell you some of the things I heard. Okay? We had a specific e-board member walking around telling each individual employee that's part of this union that it was inappropriate and unethical for me to negotiate my own contract. And being a union e-board member, you would think that that would hold some veracity. So what did you think? They actually started following along. Okay? They believed that that was unethical. But at the end of the day, it wasn't. That's exactly what I'm supposed to do. So here we are, now again, back at the table talking about an addendum that shouldn't be allowed. They negotiated their contract. It was signed, quote unquote, in good faith, just like mine was. And now all of a sudden they want to back up and start over. Well, I disagree. And at the end of the day, I don't think the union's objective should be to try to prevent the only non-union employee from making money. But for some reason, it seems to be their only objective. Therefore, I would ask that you guys deny the addendum.
Do you know, Lieutenant, where in the contract it states that you're part of both?
It doesn't state that I'm part of, it just says that I'm part of the contract. I mean, part of the negotiations. And actually, they put non-union employee and they put my name, Lieutenant, which basically means they negotiated for me. And if you're going to change the call-in procedure now, you should include me. And it says that in Appendix 1, Section 5.
Of their, of
That's
that?
correct.
Oh, I was talking about your contract.
Uh,
Where did it say it in yours? I know.
I don't recall, because at the time,
Okay.
they hadn't agreed for that.
Okay.
You know, again, I can tell you, just off the top of my head, some of the information. They ratified on October 12th. And then they had an election for new e-board members. They had already knew about this issue. The election for new e-board members was on October 23rd, all right, 11 days later. And then on October 27th, they sent out an email that they were asking for new lists after they had a new e-board. And as the only non-union employee, I think the objective is completely unfair and uncalled for. And again, I apologize to the public for having to air our dirty laundry.
So what I understand is that prior to this, there was concern that the union understood it one way, and the chief understood it a different way, as representing the town. Am I correct?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay. So with that said, what changes, my understanding is correct, what changes in the first part, having two lists, is that you move through all of the officers prior to going back to the lieutenant.
Excuse me, Glenn, I can tell you where that.
Just,
Okay.
give me 1 second.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm sorry, if you could repeat the question, please.
So, on the first list regarding details, that's our
Correct.
concern, right, is details.
Yes.
So, if lieutenant is up for a detail,
Correct.
he gets a call, he accepts the detail.
Yeah.
After that, it goes to the next person, it goes through all the officers
Correct.
until it gets back to him. Is that what you're saying?
Correct. That's the way the details looks. But the problem is that the current way it is that there's one list for details and overtime for the union members. So whether the union member takes an overtime spot or a detail, they move down on the list. The lieutenant only moves down on the list if he takes a detail. He takes overtime, it doesn't matter. He doesn't move down on the list. That's what we're trying to correct. I thought we had settled all this. I understand the lieutenant's right, but what I'd like to say is the dirty laundry comment, our grievance process is certainly not a dirty laundry. This is the way the process works. We followed the rules. It's not my opinion, it's the rules. So we've followed the rules and here we are, but yet we're letting the lieutenant speak and he's gonna say things like dirty laundry to murky the waters. We're just asking for it to be fair. I thought we were already done with this and we were just here to sign the MOA, which we were fair about and we sent to the town like you asked us to, and we're willing to agree to what the MOA says. I understand the lieutenant has a right, but we're way past the point of the lieutenant entering how he feels about this process. Because once again, the grievance process is in the contract, and we followed that process.
I was just looking for clarification.
Yeah.
That's all, make sure I was clear.
Yep.
From the
Excuse me,
previous
Glenn,
meeting.
to speak to that. That one list is what they negotiated. Not only did they negotiate it, they asked for it on multiple occasions for a long time, and the chief can attest to that. And at the end of the day, when they negotiated a new contract, never once did they say they wanted to change the calling procedure. And that was said by the other union members and the previous select board member who was their liaison. Okay? And at what point was he brought in here to ask about that? I mean, what was his opinion on this?
I just have a clarification, because according to the addendum that I'm holding in my hand for the lieutenant's contract that was signed back on,
Long before they negotiated putting me in.
it says the police lieutenant will be allowed to take overtime shifts after they have been offered to all eligible union members. The police lieutenant will be offered outside private details after they have been offered to all eligible union members.
That's correct, because that's what we negotiated after. Again, you weren't here, but we negotiated a contract that actually put me in both rotations. until the union filed a collective bargaining grievance, which again, both Jack and everybody at the table disagreed with, but the union refused to negotiate.
But then there
It's-
should be another addendum.
There,
right?
there
If it was
absolutely should.
negotiated.
There is an addendum to that because what the lieutenant negotiated in his contract with the town violated the union contract that was agreed to by both the attorney and the town. So we made an addendum that put the lieutenant at the bottom of the overtime list and the bottom of the detail list. Then we went into negotiations with the town and the town asked us to put the lieutenant in the detail rotation. And we agreed to that. And that's where we ended up with the issue of the needing the two lists because the lieutenant is at the bottom of the overtime list, but in the rotation for the detail list.
So what
So
happened
we're
was
willing-
they realized that by not having me in their call-in rotation, that they can take an overtime shift from me today, an overtime shift from me tomorrow, an overtime shift from me the next day, and then a detail comes out, and oh, by the way, my number's lower than you on a detail list, so I'm gonna take that too. It's all about greed. Again, my opinion. But we negotiated in good faith, and you guys gave me both. Again, I don't think the union has a right to tell the town what to do with their overtime. At the end of the day, if the town wants to give me 10 shifts of overtime a month, that's their business.
Once again, we're not here to argue with the lieutenant.
Appreciate
We're
it.
here to finish our grievance and to sign this MOA.
My decision hasn't changed, so no, I can't make a motion. If anyone has any other questions.
I think I think this, board spoke about this already. What we are doing right now is, going over a grievance that was filed, by the, IBPO local, 21. So I think at this point, that's what we follow suit with, is the grievance that we've discussed already.
Okay, so with that, there aren't any questions for the memorandum of agreement. I will take a motion.
I will make a motion to accept the memorandum of agreement between the town of Granby and the IBPO Local 321.
I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion? Chris, I noticed there's only one line on here. Does only one person sign it? Or are we all signing it?
We have one with two.
Right, but so I have to ask them to give me permission as the chair. Okay, so we have that motion. We're going to approve the memorandum. No further discussion?
This is just to answer the grievance that was brought forward.
Okay,
By the IPPO Local 321 Union. So this is what the grievance that they brought forward,
right,
this is what we're answering right now.
yes. But was there any further discussion on it?
No, that's, I
Okay.
just want to know that this is, we're acting on the grievance that was brought forward by them.
Agreed.
All right,
So I will make a motion that our chair, Kristen Dufresne, has permission to sign the memorandum of agreement between the town of Granby and Local 321 IBPO.
I'll second the motion.
any further discussion?
No discussion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Before you sign, we have one with two lines, if you'd
Oh.
like.
Well, I have one for you guys too.
Oh, okay,
I thought it was 3 select board members that were signing it, and when I only saw one line. Thank you. Chris, do you want me to give it, well, I'll leave it here in the folder.
Thank you.
Okay, thank
We
you.
appreciate it. Thank you, Jack.
Thank you. Thank you, Chris.
Do you want me to have Jack stay on, or we're good?
No, he's all set.
All right, thank you, Jack.
All right, thank you,
Good
Jack.
night.
Take care. Good night. You too. Bye.
All right, next is Cindy Watson. Cindy here.
Chris, don't need this on for anything else, correct?
Right.
Hi, Cindy. Good evening.
I have some handouts for you. This is in regard to the DAR every year during the week of September 17th through the 23rd. We celebrate the Constitution of the United States of America. And when we do that, we go to the towns and the cities and ask for proclamations. And when we get the proclamations, we usually have another ceremony where we read the proclamations. But I'd like to start by giving you the handouts.
Okay. Yes, absolutely. Thank you.
I have an extra poster for you. You could hang it up anywhere in town.
Okay.
But it might be good to have it here, since your offices are here. I have one for each of you. And without taking up your time, I'm not going to say a lot.
Thank you.
You can read it. And it's very
Thank you.
interesting, and if you have a revolutionary patriot in your family, the Betty Allen chapter, the DAR, is based in Northampton, and we're getting a lot of new members, and we'd like to have more. That's basically what I have for you. And now it's just a matter of you signing the proclamation.
Chris, last year we read the proclamation, right? Let's see. I was gonna see if there was an appointment for us to sign it. Yep.
Yep. Town of Granby Proclamation, Constitution Week, September 17th to the 23rd, 2024, by the Granby Select Board, dated September 9th, 2024. Whereas the Constitution of the United States of America, the guardian of our liberties, embodies the principles of limited government in a republic dedicated to the rule by law. And whereas September 17th, 2024 marks the 236th anniversary of the framing of the Constitution of the United States of America by the Constitutional Convention. And whereas it is fitting and proper to accord official recognition to the magnificent document and its memorable anniversary, and to the patriotic celebrations which will commemorate it. And whereas Public Law 915 guarantees the issuing of a proclamation each year by the President of the United States of America, designated September 17th through 23 as Constitution Week. Now therefore, we by virtue of the authority vested in us as Select Board of the Town of Granby in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, do hereby proclaim the week of September 17th through 23rd as Constitution Week, and ask our citizens to reaffirm the ideals through framers of the Constitution had in 1787 by vigilantly protecting the freedoms guaranteed to us through the guardian of our liberties. Constitution Week, September 17th to the 23rd, 2024.
So that was your motion?
I make a motion, yeah, sorry,
I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion?
no discussion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. And then I think, it says place seal here, so you're just waiting for the seal after that,
Yes.
right? So Kathy, you'll put the seal on and then mail it out to them? So yes, okay. Thank you so much, Cindy, for coming in.
Thank you. Just have to, I'll leave this with you or
Okay.
with Kathy.
Kathy, please. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
All right, next is citizen participation. So we have George Randall to talk about the Granby Fire Association. Hey, George.
Hi.
Oh, George.
Thank you very much for allowing me to speak. George Randall, 52 Taylor. As you know, this past weekend, the Granby firefighters unveiled their 9/11 memorial. Basically, what I'm here to do tonight is to say a couple of thank yous. One to Mrs. Dufresne, as she represented the Board of Selectmen on Saturday as an eloquent speaker. Next, I want to say thank you to Jeremy Carrier and his staff for a superb job on the complex ground. My compliments go out to each and every one of them. Also to Chief O'Neill for allowing us to do this project. And also to Chief O'Grady, who was also a speaker, and his unwavering support of our efforts. I'm very brief tonight. Thank you very much.
Thank you, George.
Thank you,
It was a
George.
beautiful ceremony. You did a great job. All right, next is any correspondence or any other business, Chris? Okay. So we will move on to new business and information. So next is to accept departmental reports.
I make a motion to accept the departmental reports.
I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion? I did have a question for actually Chief O'Grady, because I was curious at what that new program was called. So give me 1 second. I wrote it down as a note.
Veterans program?
No, it was a new one that I haven't seen. Is your number up? Is that the veteran one?
No, that's the, I'm sorry, there used to be a display here, that's the little placard with your house number on it,
Oh,
that's what it's called, but
Okay.
that program's been going on for years.
oh, I think that's the first time I've seen it on there. So they install numbers on the houses?
Not on the house, we put a little,
Marker.
with a marker
Oh,
on the
okay.
street, so that the ambulance and police person, fire personnel can find your house easily.
Okay. That's the first time I saw that on there.
Yeah, it's
Sporadic?
Program around once in a while, then it's very sporadic, and usually it's a repair or
Okay.
somebody, a new house that they want to put it up, but a lot of places are, people already have.
All right. Very nice. So that was the only question I had. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, next is to approve and sign maintenance warrants.
Make a motion, the town of Granby authorize for payment warrant number 16S dated 9/6/2024 with a total disbursement for warrant 16S, $174,492.91.
Do we have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion?
Discussion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Thank you. Switch.
I will make another motion that the town of Granby authorize for payment warrant number 16 dated 9/6/2024 with a total disbursement for warrant number 16, $174,504.27.
I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion?
No discussion.
I will abstain from the Matthew J. View Memorial Fund Incorporated since I am on the executive board for that fund.
Okay.
So, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.
And I will make another motion that the town of Granby authorize for payment warrant number 15 dated 8/30/2024 with a total disbursement for warrant 15, $529,845.68.
I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion? Chris, I just had a question on the PB Regional Assessment. What is that? The Pioneer Valley Regional Assessment?
What is it called?
It says Pioneer PV Regional Assessment,
What's the dollar amount?
$118,572.
That's the Pioneer Valley Regional, School, Pathfinder. It's not Pioneer, it's
Oh.
Pathfinder.
Okay,
That's our quarterly assessment.
okay.
You had me going with Pioneer Valley.
I know, because it said PV, so I thought it was Pioneer
Pathfinder
Valley.
Vocational Technical School.
Okay,
It's the other PD.
yep. All right, thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. Thank you. All right, so next is to approve and sign common victualers licenses.
I will make a motion that the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Town of Granby, certified that Rocking M Ranch doing business as Clara's Coop on 198 Bachelor Street, Granby, Mass. 01033. I hereby grant a common vic's license in said Town of Granby and that place only, and expires on December 31st, 2024, unless sooner suspended or revoked for violations of laws and of the Commonwealth respecting the licensing of common vics. This license is issued in conformity with the authority granted the licensing authorities by general laws, chapter 140, and amendments thereto.
I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion?
No
And
discussion.
did you say the license number? I might have missed that.
I'm sorry, I did not. License number 24-40,
Okay.
dated September 9th, 2024.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so next on the agenda is the MDAR announcement for the APR project name Peter Kelbasa, trustee of the Lion Street Trust, project ID number 24C02.
Do you want to
So
read
I
through it?
believe, Kathy, you said read the whole thing? Yes. It needs to be read out loud.
Okay. Make a motion for the MDAR, Department of Agricultural Resources, for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, acting by and through its Department of Agricultural Resources, hereby gives notice that it proposes to acquire an agricultural preservation restriction on the real property identified herein for the purpose of protecting in perpetuity its superior and productive agricultural resources by preventing their conservation to other uses. The applicable regulations would require the disclosure of the Commonwealth's reasons for proposed land acquisition at a public hearing held in the city or town in which real property is located. To comply with this requirement, we ask the Board of Selectmen announce that the Commonwealth is considering this acquisition for the above stated purposes at its regularly scheduled and publicly noticed meeting by reading the enclosed notice of proposed acquisition. The Board of Selectmen does not need to take any formal action on its part. Please document the announcement in the Board of Selectmen's meeting minutes and please complete and return the enclosed signed certificate of notice. The date that you certify for the announcement starts the minimum 120-day, 4-month clock for closing on the 8-month APR. The applicable regulations require that 120 days prior to purchase, an agency must notify certain public officials of its proposed action. The notification is for informational purposes only. Because of the department's priority classifications of the farmland for protections, we ask that the municipality agree to reduce the 120-day notification period to 60 days to expedite the process. The closing for this project is a time-sensitive matter and therefore ask that you agree to waive the 120-day notice period. If in agreement, please complete and return the enclosed consent to reduction of notice period. If you have any questions regarding this proposed acquisition, they can be contacted at 617-455-9204. Thank you for your assistance. Sincerely, Christine Chisholm, APR Regional Planner. Notice of proposed acquisition of an agricultural preservation restriction on property in the town of Granby. Date of this notice, August 13th, 2024. Notice of proposed acquisition is hereby given to Chairman of the Board of Selectmen of the town of Granby. Or in separate notice will be given to the department, to the appropriate county commission, regional planning agency, and the members of the general court representing the district in which the land is located. In compliance with general law, C, 7C, Section 37, the Commonwealth, Massachusetts, acting by and through its Department of Agricultural Resources, hereby gives notice that it proposes to acquire an agricultural preservation restriction on the real property identified herein for the purpose of protecting and perpetuity, thank you, its superior and productive agricultural resources by preventing their conversion to other uses. The application received by MDR indicates that the property is owned by Peter Cabasa, trustee of the Lion Street Trust, and consists of parcel located at Lion Street in Granby as approximately represented on the attached map. The APR may encompass all of the parts of the area shown. Current use of the property is primarily for mixed vegetables. Following the recording of the APR, the use of the subject property is limited to agricultural use as more particularly set forth in the APR document, the general laws, Chapter 184, Section 31, and the regulations of the department, 330 CMR 22.00. Massachusetts Department of Agricultural Resources, Christine Chisholm, APR Regional Planner. Project name, Peter Cabasa, trustee of Lion Street Trust, project ID 24C02. Confirmation of notice regarding proposed acquisition of an agricultural preservation restriction in compliance with General Law C7C, Section 37. Notice is hereby given that an announcement at public meeting was held for the purpose of disclosing the conditions or reasons supporting the Commonwealth's proposed acquisition of an agricultural preservation restriction on certain property in the town of Granby, as more particularly described in the attached notice of proposed acquisition. Certificate of notice, I certify that this confirmation of notice regarding proposed acquisition of an agricultural preservation restriction was posted or published in the following manner. I further certify that an announcement was held at the place, date, time indicated in this notice. Please complete this form and return to the original. Dorothy DU APR program, Mass Department of Agricultural Resources, 225 Turnpike Road, 3rd floor, Southborough, Mass. 01772.
So the only thing, Dave, we have to do is just fill in the date, the time, and the place for the motion.
Date is 9/9.
9924.
Time 6 6:30, yeah. Place,
10B West State Street.
and sign here.
So just read this, so it's part of the public
I'm sorry.
announcement.
The date, time, and place of the public meeting as follows are, the date is 9/9/2024, the time is 6:30 PM, the place is 10B West State Street, Granby, Mass. 01033.
So for this one, it looks like there's only
There's only
one
one
line
s-
for
oh,
this one. That one's for
that's
the
different.
reduction in time.
Okay. So would that go to the chair for signature or myself?
So the motion was to accept the MDAR.
Yes.
Do we have a second?
Was it accepted or just to read it?
No, we have to,
You're accepting them
Accepting.
purchasing the property.
I'll second the motion.
okay. Any further discussion? So I think, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And then a separate motion for me to sign that one.
I will make a motion that Crystal Dufresne, Chair of the Board, sign the confirmation of notice regarding the proposed acquisition of an agricultural preservation restriction.
I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion?
No discussion?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And then we'll do the, a motion for the consent to reduction of notice period.
I make a motion for consent to reduction of notice period. APR project name, Peter Kabasa, trustee of the Lion Street Trust, project ID 24C02. As authorized by the Mass General Laws, Chapter 7, Section 7C, Section 37, the undersigned, signed, and duly authorized representatives of the town of Granby do hereby consent to a reduction of the 120-day notice period prescribed for the announcement at a public meeting on the Commonwealth's proposed acquisition of an agricultural preservation restriction referenced above to not less than 60 days on September 9th, 2024.
Do we have a second?
I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion?
No discussion?
All in favor?
Aye. That's you. right?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Chair, you want us to print on this one? Title is clerk. That was a mouthful.
Sorry. Closed it? Shouldn't have closed it. There we go. All right, next is to approve and sign the revised special counsel contract. Did everyone get a chance to read the revised contract for our special town council?
I did.
Yeah.
Has anything changed from previous?
Well, we only had him for the gravel pit, so this is to engage with him on the cease and desist.
Okay, all right. So essentially, it would probably be almost the same terms that you've had with the gravel pit association. Okay.
No questions? Can I have a motion?
I will make a motion to enter into the client fee agreement with the select board and Attorney Costa.
Be the town of Granby, because
The
our
town of
building
Granby,
commissioner will
town.
also, yeah.
10B West State Street, Granby, Mass. Hereby agrees to retain the law firm of Mead, Tallerman, and Costa, LLC of 30 Green Street, Newburyport, Massachusetts, 01950.
I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Aye. Thank you. Kathy, there is a typo on this one. It just says clerk by name. I don't know if that makes a difference. There's two clerks. Okay.
Cross it out and put chair. Krista,
Cross it out.
cross it out, initial it, and write chair.
Okay.
Okay, I will make another motion.
This one.
What'd you say? Oh, you did it. Thank you.
Try to put it.
So I think that's just a second copy. It should be
Oh,
the
it's-
same. Yeah, it
it's the
should be
same.
the same exact agreement. Yeah. So we
Oh,
just sign it.
it
both.
is, I'm
Yeah.
sorry, yeah.
I was gonna say, I don't think there was two in
No.
there.
Apologies.
All right, so next on the agenda is to approve minutes. And I just dropped that duplicate. That's the minutes. I don't know where it went.
Okay.
Yeah. Thank you.
I will make a motion to accept the town minutes for the town of Granby Select Board dated February 26, 2024. Regular board meeting at 5:30 PM.
You have a second? Did you get a chance to review
I
it?
did, but I got a question. Why is like certain things in bold and certain things are not?
I think they were trying to show that some people made a comment, because then there's, the longer one is the person continuing to speak.
Well, this is different. The one I have.
No, you're right, because
Every guy-
sometimes
every
it's
guy
me,
says something.
sometimes it's someone else.
Yeah.
Can't explain that one?
Do we want to just take all the bold out?
I'm just curious. I don't remember, like, it says Glenn Sexton said true statement. Permits are renewed every year. Once damage is done, it's done. I don't remember ever saying, once the damage is done, it's done. I gotta take a look at this.
Okay, because they do these minutes based off of the video.
Yeah,
So
well,
these are
it's,
verbatim almost to the video, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So do you want to table this one?
yeah, because
Okay.
I mean, it sounds like something was missed.
Okay. I'm fine with that, if you want to table this until next meeting. So that was February 26th.
Yep. And it was Glenn Sexton, Ruth Boyer, and Crystal Dufresne.
Yeah, we'll just table them so Glenn can look back at the, no, sometimes I get to the parts in the minutes too where I was like, I feel like there's a word or two missing there that just doesn't make sense to me, but
Well, nothing, it doesn't make sense because like nothing leads up to,
why you would have said that.
like,
I read through it and I just kind of course, I wasn't here, so I
Right.
just kind of accepted it for what it was because it kind of just read as standard meeting minutes, so I saw it.
just table that till
Okay.
next time. I'll take a look at the,
All right, so do we have other minutes in the folder that we?
There's one more.
Okay.
Again, make a motion to accept the meeting minutes from the select board meeting dated September 3rd, 2024, regular board meeting at 5:30 PM.
I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion?
No discussion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, next is old business. Any update, Chris, on the town accountant?
I did get a hold of Markham, out of Greenfield, and I will be speaking with the representative of them tomorrow
Okay.
to get a price for them being on site for 20 hours a week.
Okay, so they are willing to be on site then?
Well, I'm
We're gonna
get a
see what it's
price.
gonna cost?
I'm gonna get a price.
Okay,
They're willing to do anything for a price,
yeah.
so.
What happened to the other gentleman?
Mr. Pork, I was asked to contact this other company first.
Yeah.
And then, if they were not able to do it for the price that we have advertised, we were bringing him in for an interview with the board of selectmen. Yes, you did say that.
Oh, no, I know. It's fine that, and they wanted to keep ready to
Yes.
like drop out or something like that.
Nope.
That's all.
No, he hasn't dropped out.
So, again, just for timing reasons, because I know Mr. Quirk, if Markham is too expensive,
I will make it, see if he can come in on the 23rd.
which would be our next regular scheduled meeting.
Yes. Come in on the 23rd to interview with the board.
Okay. Yeah, because the 16th is our bylaw hearing, so. All right. And, have you heard from Mr. Leonard about Forge Pond yet?
I did send him an email. He hasn't gotten back to me yet, but I do know that they are moving along. He's billed me, let's put it that way. I finally received the bill, so, to the exact extent where they are, I don't know. And I'm waiting to hear back from him.
Because he asked for 30 days, but they gave him the full year, right?
They gave him to June 30th of 2025, yes.
And currently, right now, no funding for the second phase, right? They still haven't.
Correct, that hasn't
Not
been
yet.
released yet, no.
Now, if they release it and we haven't filed the first one, will we lose that opportunity?
But they do it every year,
Oh, okay. So
so,
it's not something that
right.
we'll miss out on? Okay,
Unless the new governor doesn't fund it. That's the only way you would lose
okay.
the ability.
All right, so I had put on here from last time, I know we briefly got into the goals for fiscal year 2025. I know we didn't have GCAM on here, so didn't know if we wanted to discuss that further, or I know the website was one of the concerns that the board had, but I think, Chris, were you gonna get a hold of Civic Plus or try and
I've
get a
got
quote?
I've got two quotes. I'll be bringing that in because we'll probably have to put that on the special town meeting warrant for funding.
Okay,
Because they're talking, large money to upgrade the whole webpage.
okay. So besides the website, I know, we have a lot going on in town. So I think, the board, and correct me if I'm wrong, decided to table the water going down to 202 at this time?
Yes.
Yes, okay,
That's correct.
Okay.
cost too.
Yeah, the cost as well.
And we didn't think we could get it in time before the moratorium on the intersections.
Yeah, it looks like they're almost done at Five Corners. They have a little paving to do on Amherst Street, right? And then the poles, they were waiting for the light poles.
They're
to
waiting
come
for the poles, but I don't think the paving is gonna get done this year. I think that'll
Okay.
occur probably spring or summer of next year. But I think the plants will be closing down probably pretty soon.
Yeah, usually around December.
It'll be nice if they at least pave, it's uneven.
in. Yeah, they Amherst Street.
Well,
Problems when it comes
this
down.
morning, they were digging up the regular travel lane because they made you go on to that right lane to take the right-hand turn this morning. So, and I saw they were digging up the regular travel lane, so maybe they were making it level, at least on one side. Or hopefully maybe went across the whole thing and
Right.
leveled it.
Wasn't level when it came down.
But they had dug the center lane, right? That was dug out, they were digging it out this morning
On Amherst Street?
on Amherst Street, yes.
They were just digging in the patch, Chris.
Were they fixing a patch?
Yeah, it's anything really different than before.
Oh, okay.
And they didn't level road.
So then it's higher because it was supposed to be 3 inches.
Oh, no, they
Two?
went deeper.
Oh, okay.
It's gotta be 3 inches of asphalt.
So it's even more uneven now.
Well, I just, because.
Oh, I agree.
What happens is that there's a temporary stop sign there, so.
All right, so besides the website and, we're gonna table the water, going down to 02. What other goals, would you guys like to see happen in fiscal year 2025?
I'd like for us at least once a quarter to meet with some of the other boards. Whether it's the school committee, finance committee. We've always talked about, the way how we move Granby forward. So I think, we have some of the other committees and some of the other boards all sitting at the same table, I know years ago we did that. We had several different boards, so we had a big meeting just talking about ideas and suggestions about how to move forward with some of the things. So it might be good to do that again.
I think so.
Have us all in one room.
So I think with meetings like that, it's just, it would be nice to have like a clear agenda because when you get a whole bunch of people in the room, it spirals out real fast.
Well, I
So
think so,
just to
but
have, yeah, like you said, what could we do to better Granby in this department, and what's going on in your department that everyone else should know about?
it's almost just, you have
Check-ins.
a board, you put a list on the board and kind of go from there. And then you kind of say, okay, where do we prioritize going forward? And that's our responsibility, not just us, but each elected official, committee member, or board member. So I think if we start doing that, I think several years ago we did it with the finance committee and the school committee. And it worked out, I thought it worked out well. Then we gotta get back on track. And I know every single board or committee are busy, but I think if we kind of set it quarterly, at least we're doing something to address everybody kind of working together.
Agreed.
Do we want to look at possible dates going forward so we can contact the chairs and get the first meeting going?
Yeah, I would actually contact each chair and see if they're interested in doing that.
Okay.
You know, I can't imagine they wouldn't be, and then just come up with a list of dates and kind of go from there.
So do we want Chris to email them and then wait to hear back with all the answers for the next meeting, or do we want to
Yeah.
throw out some dates now that work?
No, I think we should hear back from them. You know, they'd definitely like to get one in before, or we, September, October,
Yeah.
before the holidays, before we get into December.
Which boards are you looking at?
I think the school committee, the finance committee,
Board of Health,
the board of health, the planning board.
Planning Board.
There's no reason why we couldn't have a nice, big round table discussion, just kind of talking about each committee or each board plays a part in moving the town forward. So,
Conservation Commission?
conservation.
Trying to think of the other people. So I've got school committee, finance, board of health, planning board, conservation commission. Who am I forgetting? Kathy?
The chiefs.
Oh, police department, highway department, fire department.
You were talking boards, you weren't talking
Just the
departments.
board?
Yeah.
You were talking boards, not
Okay.
departments.
Okay.
So are you going elected officials?
I think the elected officials,
So do you want assessors? You're gonna want assessors?
assessors, the clerk,
The library? Cemetery?
you know, because we can always get feedback from the fire department, police department, the areas that fall under the purview of the select.
With the select board and report back to them.
Good.
All right, anything else you guys can think of? I know we have a lot to look towards between a new town accountant, new town administrator. I know, Kathy, you did say that everyone got back to us for the committee, for the town administrator search. So that's, put together, we're just waiting for the description. And then that can start.
And I think, we don't wait too long to put that out there,
I know,
because we can always, you know, when we start doing interviews, we can always add to it if need be. I think we need to get the general responsibilities and duties, what the position has, and then go from there.
The only thing we didn't do when we made the nominations was nominate a pro tem chair.
does the committee is it usually within the committee that
No,
designates
the pro
the chair or
tem
the select
chair
board?
is usually named so that they are responsible for getting the first meeting together.
Okay.
Then the committee themselves elect their own officers. So,
All right, so I'm trying to remember who was on the group. We've got Chief O'Grady, Dave DeRocher, Brian Hoschild, Catherine Bronner,
Mark Bale.
Mark Bale, Glenn Sexton as a ex officio
Yep.
member, and,
Jennifer Bartos and Jennifer Maddow.
okay,
I'm just gonna ask that we have Chief O'Grady set up the meeting.
All right.
Like he is,
he can be the pro time chair.
well, he's a town employee, so it makes it a little easier for him than us reaching out to various other public members to do it. Where they've agreed to be part of
Yeah.
the committee, I don't think it's fair of us to task them with something right off the get-go, so. Sure, Chief O'Grady be glad to take that on.
He's smiling, I think he is.
See?
All right. Let's see, green communities, I think we decided to table that for now too, right? I mean, I know we're looking for grants and stuff for electrical and, stuff for West Street School, but open space, we have a meeting on Saturday, September 14th at Dino Fest. We will be presenting to the public, what the survey results were and asking them what is important to them when it comes to conservation and recreation. So we'll have a tent at Dino Fest all day to engage with the community and to get their opinions on where to go to next with our open space plan. So we'll be doing that on Saturday. And then I think maybe Kathy, what we can do is put near Dufresne's Pond dredging for next time. That grant's in January, just so it can be on our radar. So we can put January after that, so that we don't forget, because the last time I looked, it was only saltwater dredging, and I missed the freshwater dredging. And it comes out in January. So I just want it to be on our radar. And then we already had a meeting date for the special town meeting. So we already set that, and that was,
October 21st.
thank you. I was just gonna look at my phone because I know I put it in there. And that will be at 7 PM at East Meadow School. Does anyone have anything else they want to discuss next time? So just to remind the board, we do have our bylaw hearing on next Monday, the 16th, at 5:30 PM here. And then our regularly scheduled meeting is on September 23rd at 5:30. And then we will also have that week the open hearing for the gravel pit on Thursday, September 26th. And then we go back to our regular meetings of the first Monday and third Monday of the month.
Until something else comes up.
Yes, you're correct. Anything else, Chris?
You will probably schedule another public hearing probably in October on the gravel permit, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
Because you really should start moving that forward, moving it along. It's been a long time since that was first, application was first submitted.
No, I mean, on the September 26th, we'll
Yep.
decide that.
But I'm just saying, you probably should, you know.
all right. So if there are no other topics that you guys want to put on the agenda for next time? Dave?
No.
Okay. All right, so with that, I will entertain a motion to end,
Nope.
nope, sorry, to go into executive session
Yeah.
under 30A-21.2 to conduct strategy in preparation for negotiations with non-union personnel, and to only come out, or when we come out of the executive session, to only come out to end the original meeting. Did I say it right?
To adjourn.
To adjourn.
I will make a motion to go into executive session.
Have a second?
Second,
We'll do a roll call vote.
Roll call vote.
Dufresne, aye.
Sexton, aye.
Levante, aye.
Thank you.